to Author Talk with Anna Mansager. Today I'm sitting down with author Susan Israel, and we're going to be talking about her series of books, the Delilah Price series. And you just finished the second one, didn't you?
Yes, the second one was just released on May 31st.
That's amazing. So as a series writer, I haven't interviewed anyone who's done a series yet. So is this a series sort of plot-driven series or just more character-wise?
A lot of it is character. I come up with a basic outline of a plot, which I tend to ignore once I actually start writing it, because the second book did not resemble at all the synopsis I had for it.
Okay.
And I basically am what they call a seat of your pants writer, so I sort of make it up as I go along, which has its pluses and minuses, but it surprised me and it was fun to do. It just takes longer, I think.
Mm-hmm. It's always fun to be surprised by your own characters, though. Happens to me all the time. So Delilah Price is your main character.
Yes.
And she's seen throughout both books, and you're working on a third one, correct?
I'm working on a third, and it takes place in Brooklyn, like a lot of the second one did.
Mm-hmm.
And she doesn't live there, but she is forced to camp out there because she loses a gas line bursts in her old building, so she's evacuated and is crashing with a friend. And she gets drawn into a community of Russian emigres in Brighton Beach due to some crimes that developed. This poor girl cannot stay away from crime, and she gets involved. She does not speak Russian, whereas I was a Russian major, so I do speak Russian, so I'm writing it from a perspective of a person who knows Russian,
Mm-hmm.
about a person who doesn't know more than 2 or 3 words.
Right.
And it's intrigue. I'm going to add some more spice into it. She's been involved with a detective character and who almost never has time for her. And so she is going to meet somebody else, but the extent of the involvement is going to be determined by seat of your pants. I am not sure yet.
Okay. So these are crime novels, or like suspense novels. Did you have to do a lot of research for this? Because one of the characters is a detective police person. And obviously you're not a police person.
No,
so.
I'm not. I know a lot of them. I can pick their brains. I'm writing it from a perspective of a person. The main character isn't a police person either, so she only gets it vicariously through her boyfriend, lover, character, detective who solved the first case that he had contact with her when she was being stalked in my first book, and they became involved after that. And so she sort of gets the hang of his work, but at the same time it's the elephant in the room, because it's his main commitment, and she sort of fits in when he is off duty.
Okay, that's interesting. So since we're outsiders from, a police or crime investigation perspective, it's interesting to have the main character also be an outsider, because that way we can connect with her a little more. So tell us a little bit about Delilah. What's she like? What motivates her?
Delilah is a sculptor.
A sculptor?
In the first book, she was basically teaching classes and working through a small arts college in New York City, and she also does starving artist jobs. In the first book, she was working as an artist model, which she still is doing from time to time, but she's also, in the second book, she's a substitute teacher, which has in the school from hell, basically. So she has those starving artist jobs that have their pluses and minuses, just to make money to live in New York and maintain something of a decent lifestyle and feed herself.
It's interesting that New York features in, so far, all of your books, correct?
Yes.
Because all of the authors I've interviewed so far, New York also features very heavily in their books too, and it's funny because we live here in Connecticut,
Yes.
we're very close to New York and New York City. Would you say definitely like that would that influenced your writing a lot?
I would be very happy to be able to live there if I could afford it, but
It's
I'd have
very
to have
expensive.
like 20 different starving artist jobs to be able to do that. I used to go a lot more than I do now. I still have from time to time. I'm doing research on my third one because it involves a neighborhood that I'm less familiar with. So I feel that I will be doing more research on that as I go along.
Okay, so you can live vicariously through
Yes,
Jelena.
I do.
So the first book involves stalking of the main character.
Yes.
And then the second book also involves themes of abuse and things like that.
The second one deals with sexual assault, abuse. There is a tinge of police brutality there, which is very up to date.
Definitely,
More
yes.
so than even it was when I wrote it. And a secondary character has negative feelings about the police because a family member of hers was adversely affected by police violence.
Mm-hmm.
So I bring that in, and it may also come into play in the third book, which I'm just basically getting started writing because
Right.
I've been doing the research.
Was it difficult to write about those themes?
No,
No.
no, it's
No,
actually right there in the news every night, sadly.
Well, I meant more in like the themes of abuse and things. Sometimes you find it emotionally difficult to write about.
It was hard to write that. I would have to take breaks from it. I basically write in small bursts every day.
Mm-hmm.
I took a class in college where you had to write 250 words a day. And actually, if you did that, you have a book in a year. And except for the fact that you have to edit and go over and polish. But it was good training, but at the same time, it's very hard for me sometimes to get past the 250 words a day.
Right.
But for book 2, at the very end, I did speed it up considerably because I was way over deadline.
Well, that happens. I mean, every writer writes differently, and if you can only do 250 words a day, at least you're getting something down there, you know? And some people write, like, insane amounts, like Stephen King, but,
Yeah.
you know, everyone is different. So how long did it take you to write your 2 books?
It took 2 years for each.
2 years. So you spent a lot of time with these characters.
I feel like I know them.
Do they kind of feel like friends to you now?
Yes, they do. It's like I feel guilty when I do things to them. I really do. I feel terribly guilty. It's like, why am I putting my characters through this again?
Yeah, but now with your 3rd book, you can spend more time with them.
Yes, definitely.
So as this is a series, you said you're kind of a seat of the pants type writer, but now that it's a series, do you kind of have sort of plans for other books?
I would like to. I mentioned it once to my editor. I'm not 100% sure. It depends how the first 3 do. I think the second one has given the first one a boost.
Mm-hmm.
And it works that way, like domino theory. It'll just carry over. I did have somebody ask a friend of mine, when is her next book coming out? And she said, well, it is out. And so she just bought a copy for her coworker and sent it to me to sign, and I sent it back to her. And so I feel like I'm building a fan base.
That's great. That's really good. And also you can find Susan Israel's on about.me/Susan Israel. You have a website there.
I have a regular website, susanisrael.net.
susanisrael.net, which I will put in the description of this video at the end. And Facebook as well.
I'm on Facebook. I have my books pages on Facebook. I'm on Twitter. I do tend to be somewhat controversial on Twitter, so people have to overlook that. I've been known to start Twitter wars before I write a scene of conflict because it gets me in the mood. So
I've never heard of that method.
Poor people do not know why I'm engaging them in a debate. It's like, yes, this gets my adrenaline my adrenaline up, and I feel motivated to write this horrible scene.
Oh, all right. Susan Israel says, if you want a conflict scene, start a fight on Twitter. That's funny. I've never heard of that before, but if that gets you in the mood, then...
It does.
So the first book is called Over My Life Body.
Yes.
And the second book is called
Student Bodies.
Student Bodies.
And the third book is going to be, when it's finished, Foreign Bodies.
Foreign Bodies, okay.
And as far as any further down the line, I suggested in one of the interviews I did that perhaps we could have a novel naming competition.
Oh, that would be really fun. I think that'd be a great idea.
Using body or bodies as
the theme.
As the general theme.
So both of these books you can find on Amazon for a Kindle store. And can you also buy them paperback?
Yes, they're in paperback. You can order them from any bookstore. I may be having another book event in New London County in the fall, and we'll see what else develops as far as signing events.
Okay, great. So make sure you check her out on Amazon or in any bookstore. This, again, is Susan Israel,
Hi.
who has joined me. Thank you for watching Author Talk. You can find me, Anna Mansager, on Twitter at LionessGoddess, or visit me at annamansager.wordpress.com. Thanks again for watching.
Bye.